Hello and good morning. I am Max Sinclair. So I have started this thing. I've basically been working with this guy, AJ Morris, who's my personal trainer, online coach, who's helping me with my fitness goals. So right now it's been losing some weight in particular, but also my training regime. And then when the gyms reopen in particular, I'll be looking to build muscle. And that's been really, really helpful for me. I think about the weekly check-ins we do is every Friday I'll do a video and then answer all these questions he sets for me, like, overall, what are your successes of the week? How is your sleep? How is your training? And loads of other stuff. And I've taken tons from that, and you really self-reflect and think about how you did and how successful were you at achieving those goals. So I want to do that. And I thought about it for a while that I want to get a coach for myself for business, but so far I've just not reached out or not found anyone particularly that it's right for. And so I thought, why not just fucking set it up for myself? It's free and I can do it and do it now, and it's easily maintainable. And I can repeat a similar kind of approach that I do with AJ. I came up with the name 21st Century Meditations because Marcus Aurelius, one of the most successful Roman emperors, he named his book is called Meditations, and it's all basically these little extracts of him just writing in his journals things that he thought about, etc. So this is a 21st century to highlight that I am not Marcus Aurelius, but it's basically journal entries that I want to give to myself and learn from them for myself. And I think that, if someone else is looking to start a business or run a business and generally trying to basically achieve big things, I'm very ambitious and I want to achieve huge things. So I think it'd be really interesting if I can do this from now all the way through to doing much bigger things in my life, and look back on them and think to myself, that's where I was at that time, and that's what I was thinking about. And really just kind of ways for me to self-reflect once a week and consider how I did and how I can do better as a person. So these aren't going to be, I'm not making these. These are going to be completely honest and transparent and genuine. I'm not going to answer these questions for what I think sounds good. I'm going to answer them for what I really think. And so that's going to be it. What I'm not aiming for this to be necessarily entertaining. I'm aiming for them to be honest views of where I'm at and where I think the world is at as well, potentially. And I'm going to have a set of questions. And these are going to be generally standardized, but I'm going to change them as I try new ones and hear about new questions which I might like. If you're interested, follow along. But if you're not, no worries. This is mainly for myself. But I'm going to post it on YouTube so that you guys can follow it, and I'll put it on Instagram so you guys know. So starting from the beginning, what's the big wins of the past week? This question's straight from AJ, which I really like to start with, and it's a positive one to start the video off with. What are my big wins of the week? I think I would say my big wins for this past week have been this book right now I'm reading called 2 Scoops of Django. So I'm learning to code, and 2 Scoops of Django is this kind of slightly intermediate level of the book where you do all these tutorials for YouTube to learn Python and Django coding languages, and 2 Scoops of Django is kind of like best practices for that language. It's a book that is hard. It's quite an intense, deep read. It's quite long. It's not that long actually, but it's long for what it is because it's so dense. And I'm actually dyslexic, so I'm quite slow at reading. So I'm proud of myself that I've got about halfway through that book in a week, and I should finish it hopefully by the end of this weekend, which was one of my goals. So I'm proud that I normally listen to Audible books nowadays, and I smash through about 3 books a month, and I love that. But reading books is difficult for me, and so I'm happy, and that's a success for this week is that I have managed to achieve that, and I'm making progress. I'm making progress towards achieving it. Also, I've got some new clients on board, got a really nice new website project, which I'm really excited for, this Shopify website to build out, which I really enjoy, web development, as I've talked about already. So I think I'm looking forward to developing and delivering on that for him. It's this workstation company that does furniture, office furniture. We want to get into the B2C space, so that'd be exciting. And I launched my podcast. That's the other big thing. So I did it on Sunday because I was like, I put it off for a month or so because I was a bit nervous of the idea of doing it in the first place. So I was like, fuck it, just don't be a bitch, wake up and do it. So I did it. I woke up on a Sunday morning, just filmed the intro instantly, picked up my phone and just did it. Did an episode interviewing myself, a bit like one of these things, and just posted it all live. Signed up to Libsyn, bit of advice from Iman, my friend. Did a bunch of other little things. Made the art on Canva to be able to post the pictures all up and everything, and made a playlist on YouTube and just did it all. So that's now live, and I've reached out on yesterday or Wednesday to a bunch of friends to start with. So a bunch of really cool, lovely, interesting people who I think will be really great podcasts, like Margot, AJ, Haley, and also reached out to my my uncle's partner, James, who's the CEO of Client Earth. So lots of really interesting people who are going to be guests on the podcast in the coming weeks, which I'm excited for. So those are the big wins, I think. I'm really happy with that. I think the podcast especially was one of those new things that's a bit daunting to start. People think of me very confident, but as ever, the people who sound confident are normally the least confident internally. But I am confident in many ways, so that's me shunning myself overly. How did I do against achieving my goals? So my goals were launch the podcast, actually just get it live, and reach out to at least a few guests, 4 guests, and I have done that. So I've reached out to the 4 guests and successfully, everybody said yes. And then I've also the Django book, I am halfway through. It's going to be very hard for me to finish that by the end of this Sunday, but I think I can do it. I just need to be very focused. The positive reason is that I've had a lot of really good work projects come on board and made some sales, so that's distracted me a little bit. But yeah, if I didn't, why did? And the second part to that question is, if I didn't hit my targets, why not? And what actions would I take to avoid it again? I think that I should have put more time into the Django book earlier in the week to make sure that I was going to achieve that one, because I think it's debatable now, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to allow myself to not do it, but I think I could have done it better if I'd started it earlier in the week, so that's probably a lesson. What's the biggest challenge the company faces, and what are possible solutions to that challenge and actions to take? The biggest challenges for the company today are that we didn't make amazing sales. We made some good sales, but we didn't make the 2,000 increases in revenue kind of thing that I'd like us to. So I would like us to get more sales altogether. I think we need to do a better job of getting slightly more calls booked, and also getting but I need to get better at conversion in terms of the flow of larger ticket item sales into actual actual going ahead clients. I think that it's a easy excuse right now to say that COVID has messed things up, and it did mess things up for a period because the social marketing space is fucked basically for a period because people, even though ironically the social media world, you did better. There was less competition and more people on social media, so you can make more money than ever on social media by doing paid advertising or organic, but everybody also shat themselves and stopped doing anything. So ironically, the best time to be doing it, everybody stopped doing it for a period, but things are picking up. So that's the biggest challenge, is I want to just grow it quicker. It's kind of a challenge. It's also just I'm extremely excessively ambitious, and I won't take it that we're only increasing whatever, 500, £1,000 a month increases. I want to have a fucking £2,000 increase a month increase every month, and then 3,000, then 4,000, 5,000. My goal was to go from 70k revenue last year to 140k revenue this year, and then COVID happened. So this second half of the year has to be a fucking beast for me to hit that target, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to hit that target. What are the biggest opportunities currently for the taking? I think that LinkedIn is working really, really, really well for us. Facebook ads as well, but LinkedIn especially. So I think we need to get more people to work with us on LinkedIn because it's so good. So the more people work with us, the more they'll be impressed by it, and the more they'll spread the word, and the more they'll do more of it themselves. So I need to do a better job of telling people how good LinkedIn is, because it's fucking fire right now. Like, you get so many leads, and nobody believes me because I'm a salesperson, but they are really good leads. Like, it's what I've built a whole business around, and people need to do more of it. So I need to, and the other opportunity is I need to use my skills in sales better, as well as marketing as a business marketing agency. We need to do more sales agency work, because that's what I'm really good at. So I need to do more of that. A big opportunity too, which we are taking advantage of, as a podcast. I'm excited for that. I'm really genuinely thinking about just getting to have conversations with really interesting people once a week or once every other week is going to be fucking great. Like, I'm really looking for, I'm always paranoid of being genuine or not, but I really genuinely am excited for getting to just talk for an hour about, like, a bit of a deeper conversation with all of the people I've already booked, like Margot and Haley and AJ, just because I get to ask all these questions that I would have never normally asked in a normal kind of random WhatsApp chat. So you get to ask these deeper questions, which are so interesting to talk about. Just to have one good conversation a week, that's so valuable. And especially when I start to reach out to more people that I don't actually even know particularly yet. How has my energy been? I think my energy been a lot better. I had a weekend away with Margot, and I came back from that quite tired, but then kicked back in. And after a good few nights sleep, this week in particular, I had a weekend off. I just worked, and I've felt a lot better because of that, because I've just slept really well, really switched on. I think a challenge with me though is that if I don't take a break, if I don't do anything like go away with Margot, I had a few days after Margot where I was not a good worker because I was tired and things, but then I got back into it and I really kicked off and smashed it for this past week and a half. So maybe I need that time off, and I need a bit of a break after the time off, but then I am fucking fire for the next 2 weeks. But then I do need another break. Like, I don't know, a break or just time away from work, who knows, unwinding. I want to get better at unwinding without alcohol. That's something that I want to do for sure. Who's impressed you this week? Who has impressed me? I think these guys, no, I was going to say, I think that the guy that we're starting to work with, there's a guy called Harry who's a really experienced developer. He's going to be helping us with becoming more of a software business. So we're building our own software. He's coming on as just like an hour or half hour every a couple times a week on team calls, video calls, to like help us, to give us structure basically as an experienced developer. I was really impressed by him. I think he's an extremely intelligent, but also just genuinely a really nice person. And so I think that that's one of the nice things that you see from the web developer world, is that people are just very generous and kind and considerate and always there to help you. And like, he's doing this for below his pay wage kind of thing, and he's giving us extra time and everything. So I think that's really impressive, that his genuine love for it is helping us to progress, and we're really going to grow so much quicker as a company because of him. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for this flat. I think I'm always talking about escaping, but grateful for having this flat, which I'm not afraid of losing because my mum's helped me to own it. So I'm never going to be homeless, I think. And this is, I say this as a motorbike goes past, but this is largely a silent, tranquil place, and I need to appreciate that and be thankful for how beautiful this location is. Like, look at that view. It's pure green. So I need to be thankful for this apartment, and I need to be thankful for my mother. I could say this every week, but I'll say it this one for the first one. I'm thankful for my mother for supporting me through COVID, for funding me. She's helped me financially because the company dropped to a fraction of the revenue, so I couldn't pay myself at all. So thankful for that. What are you reading, listening to, and what have you taken from it? I'm listening to this. Two Tools of Titans is amazing. Just every single interview, you're like, fuck, I've got like 3 books to remember because these sound amazing. And all of these actions, like I'm doing this and so many other things, that doing the podcast and all this other stuff because of that book. Like reading is the fucking fountain of knowledge. Like read more. I'm reading 3 books a day. Yeah, that sounds like I'm, what is it? Trying to make myself sound smart, basically. Whatever. I'm proud of it, and I'm excited that I'm reading 3 books a month. Like that is fucking cool, and you should read more too. Reading is like the most important thing to be successful, and it's the most common trait for successful people is that they read regularly, or specifically Audible. I listen to Audible. Tools of Titans, basically. Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm listening to a podcast by called Django Chat, which is really good if you're into development and Django. You just learn so much from listening to people talk about it. How could I help lift someone else? I think helping Georgia to move to the UK in my team. She's in Greece right now, and she's had a dream to live in London her life. I'd love to help with that. I'd love to help all of my team. I want to make sales for my team so that everybody can get full-time pay and be back on full-time, so that everyone in the team can just be a proper unit rather than part-time hours is just so messy and can't stay focused on the dream. I want to help the Django community. There's this, again, I'm talking about web development stuff a bit, but this is like a charity that helps run this framework that makes building websites so easy, and I've taken so much from. So I'm going to make a small donation, which is realistic, to the Django community now. I think it'd be cool. How can I do more of what I love? I think that's a great question, which I'm excited to ask each week. I think that doing more projects with clients, which I'm really excited for, and then other projects which realistically I've done a lot of, and so I've started to maybe lose interest in, just accept that, and that's a progression for the rest of the team to get involved in, and they've never done it before, so this is like a learning curve for them, and it'll be more exciting for them. So I think basically I'm fucking loving coding, so I need to do more of that, and that's fine. And the podcast I'm excited for again. I've got into it now, so I'm really excited, like getting guests on and becoming good at that, asking questions and everything. What's one big lesson I've learned from this past week? One big lesson. I think it's a reminder lesson. Again, I've learned this before, but attack things that you're scared of. So I'm not. I'm fucking. I was going to disclaimer this saying I'm not scared of it, but no, I was scared of launching a podcast because firstly you have to put yourself out there. How do you do it? How do you do all of these things? Whenever you do a new skill, that's a little bit scary. And then secondly, you have to ask random people to come and do it with you. So and my YouTube channel right now has like fucking 59 subscribers. It's not exactly an exciting proposition. Like I've got obviously a bunch of Instagram followers and stuff, but it's not like I'm a big deal. I'm a nobody. And so to ask people to come onto it is quite an ask. It's a favor really in the short term, whatever it's going to be. So it's daunting. So it was a reminder, the Will Smith quote, like attack things that you're afraid of. I lived by that for most of my life, and I forget about it, and you can easily forget about it. So remember that. Attack things you're afraid of and you will grow. I was scared of heights. I went and did a climbing course. All of these different things, you feel so much stronger afterwards. I feel confident now because I've made that decision on Sunday up morning. I was like, fuck it. Take the moment when you have the most energy, the morning when you first wake up on a day that you've got some time, just fucking do it. Like, are you going to start to do anything? Start a business? Just fucking start doing. Do. I just recorded that video. I launched it. I put it out on YouTube. I posted onto Instagram. It's happening now. I can't pull it back. Like, that's fucking going. So yeah, I think that's the biggest reminder lesson to take from is I need to attack my fears more, and I need to actively think of things to attack. Like, what am I afraid of? Because you don't want to think about it. What am I afraid of and how am I going to attack that? Cool. Well, this was 19 minutes. I think it'll probably be average of like 7 to 15 minutes going forward. I don't know. Anyway, maybe someone found this of interest. If not, I found this of interest, and I think I've already thought about things better because of it, so I'm glad I've done it. Until next week.